Raider Nation, what is the deal, man? Once again, it's your guy Panama Fargo back to y'all with another episode of the Raider Rundown. And today, man, I thought we can get a real quick deep dive into Zamir White, right? Look at his game. What can we expect from him? The positives, the negatives, right? And what he should be able to bring to this offense now that his production should be increased, right? So without further ado, let's get that theme music rocking. Let's get into it.
As a young guy, I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports.
Raider Nation, what is the deal, man? Once again, it's your guy Panama Fargo. You watching the Raider Rundown. Make sure you keep tapping on that like and subscribe button. Even tap on the share button, man. Let's get some of this content out there. Trying to get the watch hours up. And I can't do it without y'all, man. So help your boy out, man. Let's get them watch hours up. Let's get this channel monetized, man. Let's keep things rocking. But without further ado, like I said, man, I'm trying to get a real quick deep dive into Zamir White and his game, man. What can we expect from him? So without further ado, let's get rocking. Now, when you look at Zamir White coming out of college, when the Raiders drafted him right from Georgia, we all kind of had the sense that this was the Jacobs, the Jacobs replacement. That's the kind of the sense that we got when Zamir was drafted. Now, when you look, right, the narrative upon Josh Jacobs has really severely flipped. Now, I'm not going to say that, we thought he was complete shit before, but at the end of the day, right, he was good, but nobody was talking about Josh Jacobs like they're talking about him now, right, this time last season. Okay, it's a whole different narrative. Now, it makes it harder for Zamir to come in here and at the same time get any type of touches, if Josh was playing the way he was playing. Now, unfortunate circumstances has arisen, right? And now Josh is going through the contract disputes with the front office, with the team, which is not negative, by the way. I gotta say that. I'll make another video about that. But the contract talks aren't negative. At the end of the day, he's not under contract. He hasn't signed his franchise tag. He's not there. So, right, the plan all along was to have Zamir come in here, and unfortunately, we don't want it to happen this way. But here we are, and it looks like Zamir is gonna have increased production. What can we expect from Zamir, right? Now, when you look at him, he's a very strong gap scheme power runner. Very strong, bro. When you look at him, right, he has the patience. Yeah, he has the patience to sit there and let the blocks develop. Let his linemen get their hands on people. Let his linemen drive the linebackers, drive the second level out, right, and make a nice cut off that. Now, what he does not have, and I will say this, I will be the first to say it, he does not have Josh Jacobs' agility when it comes to jump cutting, to cut on a dime, the side-to-side shit. He doesn't have that. Not like Josh. You feel what I'm saying? And to expect that from Zamir is unfair. Because at the end of the day, no two running backs are the same. These two running backs will not be the same. All right, so that's not what we can expect. Now, when we get into the open field, this guy has 4.4 speed. When we're talking about Zamir White, he has 4.4 speed. I feel like, although he's not a home run hitter like Dalvin Cook, like Saquon Barkley, right? I do feel like if he gets into the open field, it's going to be a problem for defenses. Because at the end of the day, he's quick enough to get himself into the end zone. Like I said, he's not a home run hitter, but he gets himself into the open field and he's quick enough to get in there. He's fast enough to get in there. Now, the next thing I love about his game is that physicality, right? And you see the physicality really surface when you're talking about these power runs and him getting in between these blocks, right? When it comes to Zamir making a hole for himself, he will make a hole for himself. What do I mean by that, right? When we're talking about running backs making a hole for themselves, it means like they're gonna put their pads down and they're gonna barrel through no matter whatever's in front of them, right? And that's something we used to see Josh do. We're used to seeing Josh do. Now, when you talk about Zamir and his game, right, what's a little different from Josh is that he has a lower center of gravity. He has a smaller stature, smaller frame. He's not as big as Josh, not as tall. So at the end of the day, when it comes to getting his pads down, when it comes to moving his legs, he kind of has a small advantage off that just because of his lower center of gravity. Now, I'm not going to say he's, at the end of the day, I'm going to keep reiterating this because there's going to be some people in my comments or whatever talking to me about this. No, he's not Josh Jacobs, okay? Whatever you're expecting from Zamir and whatever you are used to seeing from Josh, don't expect that from Zamir. It's not the same thing, right? We're gonna see a completely different runner. But at the end of the day, he has the ability and he does have some of what you're looking for to be a very good starting caliber back, right? He has the pass blocking down, which is really important. When you talk about pass blocking, this guy blocks his ass off, all right? And Josh blocks his ass off too. But at the end of the day, Zamir blocks his ass off. When it comes to being physical in the run game, he's gonna give you that 5-10 clouds in the dust, at 5-10 yards in a cloud of dust, right? He's gonna get that to you. Well, like I said, he's not a home run hitter, but at the end of the day, with the way the gap schemes are in the Raiders offense and the way the Raiders offense is really set up, he's set up to sit there and give you 5, boom, break off for 15, boom, maybe another 5. You know what I mean? He's one of those type of runners where you can consistently give him the ball, right? And you're gonna have to probably give him 20 to 25 carries a game for him to really show his ass, right? And he's one of those runners. But at the end of the day, I feel like he can, you know, he can make some shape with those carries. Now we talk about the negatives, right? The negatives are this. Sometimes, for as patient as a runner he is, his vision comes, goes, okay? Now, sometimes he'll see a hole. Sometimes, you know, he'll just put his bull, he'll put his head down and act like a bull in the china shop. Okay, so and sometimes there's nothing wrong with it, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're seeing it from broadcast view, you see another thing, you know, sometimes you're like, Zamir can jump cut out here, or he can jump out of a defender's way, but at the end of the day, he decides to put his head down. And that's the frustrating thing with the vision, right? Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And like I said previously, he doesn't have the agility of Josh Jacobs. So maybe sometimes he does see the hole, but at the end of the day, right, he does not have the agility like we're used to be able to cut on a dime and still move to the outside and show that 4.4 speed, right? So that's something that we have to get used to. He's more of a one cutback. He's more of an Arian Foster. You feel what I'm saying? He's more of somebody that's just gonna give you that one nice cut off a block, you know what I mean? And he's gonna make a shape from there. So that's something that we just, you know, have to be wary of. At the same time, last but not least, another negative, he has a rich injury history, a very rich injury history, right? And that's something that scares me when it talks about the running back position. And that's something I've talked about at great length on why most running backs aren't getting paid, right? It's because of the rich injury history of that position, the physicality of that position. And when you're talking about a running back who's already coming into the NFL, and before coming into the NFL has had, I think, 2 major knee injuries, you feel what I'm saying, where he has torn a ligament or something like that. So that's something you just gotta keep in mind. You know what I mean? That's something that you really gotta think about, because, you know, that can scare you when it talks about the running back position. So hopefully he can stay healthy. You know, he didn't really play much last year, so maybe last year he was able to rehab his body. You feel what I'm saying? Really get a year to rehab, really get a year to get his body in shape, get his body healthy. You feel what I'm saying? And that might be a blessing in disguise for us, right? And when he plans to play this year, and when we see him more in training camp preseason, let's see how fresh his body looks. Let's see how explosive his body looks, right? Let's see what goes down. But that's some of the things that we can expect from Zamir White with his increased role, his increased production. I know right now, you know, everybody is kind of still salty about the news, but at the end of the day, man, we drafted this kid for a reason, and there's still some other guys behind him to be excited about. When you talk about Britton Brown, when you talk about Sincere McCormick, who both of those players I will be making a breakdown on later. But at the end of the day, there's some players to be excited about, some new talent to be excited about. So while we're still getting this Josh Jacobs thing figured out, which I fully expect him to be part of the team once the season comes, but while we're getting that figured out, let's cheer on these young guys, man, and let's see what the fuck they can do, because who knows, they might surprise us. So remember, man, make sure you keep hitting that like and subscribe button. This has been another episode of the Raider Rundown, and you know I always keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown.